Hi! As we talk more and more about the interface of Blender, you might become curious about what the interface looked like before now. Older iterations of Blender arranged the panels horizontally and tabs weren't used at all. The biggest change came with version 2.5, which was finished in 2011. It even won some awards from respected magazines like 3D World for the improvements. Gosh, it's so fun to look back on the past, isn't it? But it's kind of fun to think about what Blender will look like in the future too. While some users call for a vastly simplified interface, I'm more of like a VR interface kind of guy, with voice commands and like you just rotate. For this part, I'm going to explain how to arrange the editors to your liking. You're going to learn how to resize, full screen, merge, split, swap, and open new windows. Part 2 begins now.
First up, resizing. Resizing serves to make an editor take up more or less space in the UI. It's used because sometimes you can't see the full contents of an editor, or you just want to get a better look at something. The outliner, for example, starts off particularly small. To resize, locate the editor's frame, then left-click and drag in whichever direction you like. Resizing is useful, but instead of moving frames around, it's possible to temporarily make one editor full screen while keeping your original layout intact. This helps you to focus on your current task and ignore unneeded editors for a time. Often you'll do this with the 3D View editor to get a better look at your objects. To start, place your cursor in the editor you want to make full screen. Then hold Shift and press Spacebar. All editors will disappear except the one you selected and the info editor at the top. Press Shift Spacebar again when you want to exit. It's also possible to go full screen for your entire layout by pressing the hotkey Alt F11. This option is also listed in the info editor's view menu. Like Shift Spacebar for single editor full screen, press Alt F11 to toggle out at any time. Next, we have splitting editors. This adds more editors into your layout by making a copy of one, which can then be switched to a different editor type. Again, the 3D View editor is typically the target of splits, since each extra window can provide a different viewing angle on your scene. To split editors, notice the triangular areas in the top right and bottom left corners of each editor. They look a little bit like thumb grips. These are called splitter widgets. Wow, that would be a tongue twister, man. Splitter widget, splitter widget, splitter widget, splitter widget. No, it's not that hard. By left-clicking and dragging the widget inward, you'll split the editor into two copies of itself. Merging is the reverse of splitting. It combines two editors into one. If you find you don't use an editor, get rid of it by merging. The trick is both editors you merge must be the same dimension in the direction you are merging them. Side-by-side editors must have the same height, and stacked editors must have the same width. The process is the same as with splitting. Left-click and drag the splitter widget of the editor you want to keep, but this time do it outwardly into the editor you want to remove. Next, we have swapping. Swapping will switch the place of any two editors regardless of their size and location. Exactly like that show Wife Swap, except with editors. This one isn't used often since the editors are in their optimal location by default, but who knows, you might find it useful. Start by selecting the splitter widget of any one editor you want to swap. This time hold Ctrl, left-click the widget, and drag the mouse to anywhere on the editor you want to switch with. Release the mouse, and voila! Finally, you can open a new window. This will create a whole new layout which can be further divided into editors however you like. It's mainly useful when using more than a single monitor with your computer. Again, you'll select the splitter widget of an editor, shift left-click it, and move your mouse anywhere. A duplicate of the editor will pop up in a new window, which you can move and split as you like. If you want to duplicate your full layout to a new window, use the window menu in the info editor and select Duplicate Window.
Aw yeah, the tally-tallies mean it's challenge time. And this time you're actually going to need to open Blender to complete the challenge. Your task: recreate the layout shown in this image. You can do it like this. First, merge the 3D view into the timeline. Second, split the 3D view vertically and resize it to take up half the space. Third, swap the Properties editor and the outliner. Fourth, create a new window from the 3D view and position the windows side by side. Finally, full screen the editor in the new window you created. If you want to pause the video to keep the instructions around, now would be the time. If you're on howtoblend.com, you can find the instructions listed below the video player. And that's it for now, so I'll see you in the next part.